Natasha, this is the most unlikely situation. Normally, we are side by side, aren't we? But over the internet.
Exactly, and now we're sitting side by side in a little flea-bitten cafe with water on the floor.
It's fantastic. And another gorgeous day in the Algarve, hence our...
Beautiful, yes.
our bikinis. But it's Friday, time for the news review.
Thank God, yes, thank God it's Friday.
And a slightly festive feel to this. I think maybe just 3 picks from your fabulous review of the year, 2025. This is a great piece of work. If I can open up the paper and take a look inside. Look at this wonderful layout.
That was thanks to Inez. I mean, people at the office.
Our dear editor.
I'm not involved in layout.
Okay, but no. I mean, the content is amazing. And I don't know, you've got something for every month of the year, maybe four stories per month?
I think it was 4 stories per month. Yeah.
So what stood out for you? If maybe today, given that we're together, we'll have a bit of fun looking back on maybe some of the lighter-hearted stories, I don't know. And then maybe a little look towards 2026.
The thing is, I've got such a black sense of humour that for me, the lighter-hearted stories, no, they would upset a lot of people. I mean, they're the stories like where people have got their bodies mixed up and then they bury the wrong person.
Okay, let's stick to the bad news. Let's stick to the bad news then. So what were the 3 things that really...
The worst thing that happened, of course, we could think of the best thing that happened.
Okay.
The best things that happened were that right at the beginning of the year we were hailed as being part of the Iberian miracle.
Yes, very good.
Which is all to do with the economy, and which is what everybody seems to think is the most important thing that that ever existed is the economy. So we were hailed as the Iberian miracle because Portugal and Spain together had managed to stop the EU appearing to be flatlining, which it basically is.
Yes.
So
I've forgotten all about that, the Iberian miracle.
That happened in February. And then, at the end of the year, which was great, we get the accolade from the Economist magazine of having the economy of the year. So all that was really...
So that was the bread of the sandwich of the year, and economic Wonder Bread either side of
I think that was the filling, really, because if you think of it, there's a lot of chewy old bread as well. I mean, if you think about it, because that was the good filling. That was like having your nice little spread in the middle. But then there was all this chewy stuff like that terrible accident where all those poor people were killed and many were injured. And
you're referring to the Gloria Funicular.
The Gloria Funicular, and that Gloria Funicular disaster. There's something about it. I'm so sad because they have. Yes, all these people that were injured, they never go into what these injuries were. They kept it right out of the press. And some people are deeply injured. I mean, I think there's one man still in a coma.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And I just think it's so bad that we didn't somehow accept that and show people were able to show some sort of outpouring of grief, because basically it all got tidied up very quickly.
That's true.
And I didn't like the way it was tidied up.
And we owe them quite a debt, don't we? Who came on holiday to Lisboa and they had their lives changed completely.
Exactly, for what looks like, as we were talking at the Christmas lunch of our...
Yes, that's why I'm in the Algarve,
But we were talking at the Christmas lunch between the difference between incompetence and corruption. And this story is a marvellous example of an incompetence that sort of borders, in a way, must border to a certain extent on corruption, because if you can be that incompetent, you are actually corrupt.
Yes, where the Venn diagram circles overlap, perhaps. And on that subject, and obviously we wish that those people who are recovering from that horrible accident the very best, and that they do get justice.
I think they will. I'm sure they will, because a lot of them come from countries that will not take any nonsense.
Okay, interesting.
And so I'm hoping they do get all the compensation they deserve. Because I heard also awful things that I didn't really like the whole thing. They were saying, well, of course, compensation will have to be worked out on how many years you've lived and what kind of life you've lived and what kind of effective person you are. That sounds a bit pernickety, doesn't it? I thought that was absolutely revolting as well.
Staying with incompetence, the apoiado. Was that April, the blackout?
That was an April.
And that again was an Iberian not miracle.
No, that was an Iberian fudge.
Yes,
I
yes,
think,
to put it bluntly and
because
mildly, yes.
we were all given explanations in drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
So, for instance, they said first of all that it was all in Spain. You know, it's got nothing to do with Portugal. And then it was an oscillation of the energy levels at solar
Yes.
plants.
Does anyone know what that actually means?
It just means energy was
Right,
going.
okay. Yes, okay.
And I think essentially the way they said, absolutely no evidence at all of a cyber attack. At the same time, they're also saying, because I saw this literally, it kind of went ping off my conscience yesterday, and I haven't, because we were doing the Christmas party, I didn't have time to look it up, but I saw that some high official in REN, which is the electricity
network. Yes,
but it's owned by the Chinese.
Right.
He said that an apagão could happen at any other time, any time now. You know, we could have
that's the main man, is it?
Yeah.
That's
so
the
in other
commentary,
words,
right, okay.
whatever beefing up of our integrity we were meant to be doing afterwards, which they said we were all going to be, beefing up our energy integrity, it's not going to be done sufficiently. Surprise, surprise.
Not the answer people were hoping for.
No, and
incidentally, we are quite near a construction site, aren't we, today? But the sun's coming out.
Yeah,
Since we started
great.
talking, the sun's coming out.
I
which is
know,
lovely.
but it's lovely. I mean, even when it's raining, it's nice walking here.
It is. I've never been to Algeciras before. This is beautiful. We're underneath the castle, aren't we?
I love Algeciras.
Amazing place. Amazing
It's a
place.
beautiful place.
So possibly another. That's what we have to look forward to. But in 2026 and ahead is the possibility of another blackout.
Yeah, I mean certainly 2026 for anyone who doesn't have a radio that needs batteries. If anyone that hasn't bought a radio that needs batteries, it's very, very cheap. Go to Vodafone. You need one because the day of the apagão, I suddenly became like the one-eyed man in the kingdom of the blind. Everyone came to see me because I had my radio.
You had your radio.
And I was
now you'd taken the advice that had come out a few weeks before from somewhere else.
Surprise, from the European Commission.
Yes.
The European Commission advised everyone to have a radio with batteries and
in the event of an emergency.
And water, I think, and something, now they're actually saying apparently as well, you should keep some money at home because obviously if we have another blackout, we can't get money out of the ATMs.
Okay.
You've got to be, I've got a little stock of water and I've got loads of tins. I'm not bothered anyway.
Follow Natasha on Instagram for more prepping and survivalist tips for 2020. That was a joke, by the way. She doesn't have an Instagram.
I do.
You do have an Instagram.
Every now and again, if I want there's somebody I'm doing a story on and I know they're on Instagram, I can find them.
Okay, of course.
But I'm not sure how I've done it.
Yes,
it's just things like
your research tendrils
and I just
there.
press.
Okay.
But, yeah.
The upside, of course, though, was even though at the beginning of the day people were obviously deeply concerned about how long it would last and whether it was a cyber attack and all the dark and negative things, we had the most brilliant day, didn't we?
It was the best day. It was a lovely day. I mean, obviously it wasn't great if you were editor of a newspaper, but
that's true.
But I wasn't, and I'm not. So I had a lovely day. I did a whitewashing of walls because it wasn't raining, and I talked to everybody who came by saying, what's happening? Because I had my radio.
There you were.
And I had a brilliant day. And then what I did, because I knew that we should be carrying a story when the power came on, and we had no power still at 10 here. So I got into bed, but I left my lights on. So then, of course, when the power came on at about midnight, I got woken up by the lights, and then I got up and worked. So, and then I did the story in time for the morning.
Community broke out all over Portugal, didn't it? So in a way, we are prepared. But not necessarily in terms of the huge power requirements that seem to grow by the day.
Well, this is the problem. The reason we will have more blackouts is because we've got too much demand now for electricity. Because with the things like the data centers and all this idiotic AI, focus, plus also the government seems to be trying to get people to ditch all their gas appliances and go electric. Well, of course, that's going to put more and more demands on the grid, and the grid isn't really something that is expanding the way it should. So I know that they have talked about they're expanding the grid near Sines because they need to.
Yes.
And they're going to expand the grid somewhere else. But generally, we are trying to put the cart in front of the horse, and there will be times when the cart and the horse park.
Come apart. So watch your space, literally, and you'll continue to report on that, obviously, from every angle of
but
that
you see, the thing,
mix.
what we can't do is we can't report at all when we've got no electricity.
That's true.
It's really sad. So there was a bunch of people in Algesur that were looking into having a sort of CB radio system, and I said, "Oh, please, can I get on in this group?" But then I think I was probably thought too old or something. Nobody ever got back to me.
Hold on a minute. You can't be too old for CB, the invention of the 1980s.
The people that were thinking about it were all much younger than me.
Okay. If you've got a suggestion for Natasha's handle for her CB radio, please put it in the comments below. You've got to have a special name in CB, haven't you? Like Rubber Duck or...
Okay.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, well, any suggestions, please, in the comments.
Okay.
So any other standout moments in this review of the year?
Oh, in the review of the year? Any other standout moments?
Or maybe things that you're looking to see how they unfold for the next year.
Well, you see, I kept away in the review. I did kind of say this to you, and I think I said it on air. I kept away from the enormous amount of environmental upset amongst communities who are being threatened with mining or solar parks, or not so much wind parks anymore, but it seems to be this plastering of the country with solar panels and the mining. And now they've just found, I think this month they said they've just found a new area, 2 new areas where they think there's more rare earths than they ever imagined.
I saw that.
That's also very bad news.
That's a worrying thing to
very
see.
Bad news for the people involved. So I think that 2026 we'll start to see people really saying, enough. We are not.
And it's not just the swampies now, is it? It's not just
it's everybody, because you see, people came here and they invested. Imagine you've come to a beautiful area,
yes,
and you've got your little allogement local going, or your little pension, your little hotel.
Yes.
You've got all your dinky little corners where people can do their meditation
and yoga. Yes.
And then suddenly you hear that next door they're going to be drilling, having an open pit mine. It's not going to
be very compatible with your holistic retreat.
Exactly,
is it?
and then you can't sell it on.
Yes.
And no one's going to give you any compensation because they say, "Oh no, it's all to do with the good of the economy. Just get with it, get with the program."
Yes.
So I think
that's wearing a bit thin, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And I think, well, also the whole thing of get with this blinking program. If we've got as many wars as we've got going, and everybody is shooting missiles and left, right, and centre, why on earth should half the world be falling over itself to be green when the other half of the world is killing each other,
literally destroying the environment and everyone in it?
Exactly.
Yes,
so I don't get any of that. Get any of that. But so I've got a feeling the reason I think 2026 is going to see more sort of civic kickback is because there's a big group, because the area that's most threatened, it's absolutely disgusting. We talked about it. This Sophia solar plant. It goes over
landscape. Really,
I think it goes over 3 municipalities, and
what's that lady's name?
She's called Sophia.
That is Sophia. That's spooky, right? Okay.
Yeah, she's called Sophia. So it goes over 3 municipalities, and I remember I saw it written down. It was 1.36 million solar panels, and it's plastering all this area. So
conceivable amount of
they call it a
glistening plastic on the landscape.
They call it a black suffocating mantle or something, a black blanket, suffocating black blanket, because it's going to absolutely render the earth beneath it unusable. Plus, when it rains,
who called it that? The group, the pressure group.
This somebody from the Beira Baixa.
Yes, it raises the temperature as well, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
I heard somebody say, until we've got every rooftop covered with solar panels, let's not think about covering any more of the land.
Yeah, but you see, the funny thing is, my little house up here, because I'm in what's called the historic centre, they won't allow you to put solar panels.
Right. Okay.
Which is also silly. 1 minute you're told, let's have solar panels, next minute, oh, you're in a historic centre.
One of the great contradictions of our time, I suppose.
I know.
Wow, okay.
So I think that's what's going to happen. I know that the first big demonstration is planned for the new year, and I saw that they say they want between 3,000 and 30,000 people. There are a lot of people in the Beira Baixa who are very, very angry.
We'll see what happens in the new year.
I think there's a lot to be said for, you completely understand them. I mean, when I heard about all this, and I was thinking about it, well, we're so lucky in the Algarve because there's no chance of mining, largely because there's so much has already been built, and it's It is the tourist attraction, I suppose you could say.
Yes, yeah.
So you can't start mining when people are trying to get their towels organised to go to the beach.
We'll see about that next year. But what's interesting to me about what you said is the pushback, the feeling among people to, we had this great outpouring of community in the blackout, people coming together perhaps, and now seeing through some of the bigger narratives or reacting to the bigger narratives of ecological change when actually it doesn't seem to make much sense to people.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
And it's also coming from a bunch of people who are not elected and who are making decisions that are based on financial...
And there seems to be money involved.
Yes,
indeed.
exactly.
Yes.
So
okay.
I don't think anybody's going to take much interest in what they have to say. So I think that is, that is something to be looking out for. And other than that, I just find this latest story, the one that I only just did something on it early this morning, but there's a very, very strange, very weird story that came out of America. Did you see this one?
I think I know what you're talking about.
This poor man who was shot in
the plasma scientist who was about to change the course of history. Yes.
But there's more to it now, because yesterday the Israelis were saying they thought that there was an Iranian link.
Yes.
And today,
that's disappeared, isn't it?
Oh, it's all disappeared.
Yes.
But not just that, the man who is now blamed for shooting this physicist is an ex-physicist himself.
And a fellow Portuguese.
But what's even more bizarre is that the program he managed to get legalized to get a green card in America, Trump has already stopped that program on this basis. On this basis of this story,
really?
Trump has just stopped that program. But not only that, Trump today has announced...
This is all today?
All today.
Right.
Trump today has announced that he is funding through Trump Media or something, a €6 billion program with something else into nuclear fusion.
My goodness, right, okay.
We were just talking about fusion because of this poor man, and
yes.
this man was on the brink of a discovery, and now Trump is it's all very weird.
It is.
And the man who shot the scientist is dead, and the police said we're not looking for anybody else.
Yes.
And when they say we're not looking for anyone else,
isn't it?
and as I said in my story, but the CCTV images show the man on the telephone, which would suggest he might have been calling an Uber, possible, but he might have been talking to an accomplice or somebody who told him what to be doing. I mean, I don't know how you can close the case.
Journalistic spidey senses are tingling with this. It's
something that doesn't smell right.
Right, absolutely.
It's another thing that doesn't smell right. On the basis that we are fed lies all day long, and we're expected to print them. I think there are some questions to be.
Well, can I thank you for that? In terms of questioning narratives.
I always question them.
Yeah, excellent. And I think it's useful or right to thank you for that. And we look forward to more of the same in 2026. Do you have, in conclusion, that's pretty amazing, that little range of stories bringing us right up to this very moment, hot news.
Isn't it weird that a man apparently shoots himself cleanly in a lockup, and that's the end of the case.
Yes.
We've solved the Boston student killings.
Yes.
And we've solved the killing of the physicist. All
in one go.
All done.
Yes.
Beautifully. And he's killed himself.
Yes.
So that's the end of this story.
Thank goodness the spirit of journalism is still alive.
Isn't it bizarre that within seconds of this, Trump closes down the program that he came in on and then announces a massive deal over nuclear fusion?
We will watch this closely. I'm sure you will, Natasha.
Well, it's just all very odd, and I just wonder that if it makes me think, come on, it's got to be making important quarters think, unless everybody is being told that they mustn't.
We will see. Do you have a final, in conclusion, message, the conclusion of the year, the conclusion of today's podcast. And thank you for taking part in these. These are great fun.
It's great fun.
We'd love to hear from you if there's anything that's been said or hasn't been said that you would like to bring
Probably
to our
things
attention.
that have been said, isn't it? It'll be people being cross.
Maybe, we'll see.
How can you say these things?
What's your final message going into into a new year and celebrating Boas Festas here in
My
Portugal?
final message. I think 2026 is going to be quite a shock.
I can't just let you say that without saying why.
Why? I just think everything's changing.
Okay, so I've called it a spicy year ahead. Would you agree with that analysis?
Yeah, I think spicy is very, very good.
Okay, Piri. It's going to be a Piri of a year ahead.
I would say don't make 2026 a year where you make any plans at all. So don't plan to go here or go there. Just watch what's happening.
Right,
Because
okay.
At the moment, anyway, there's no way you want to get out of Portugal or go into it because of the queues in the airports. So just sit tight, don't make any big plans for 2026, and just keep watching.
Yes, in some ways that could be taken as quite a dark message, but it's also, there's a mindful side to that, isn't there? Stay put,
and don't
reflect,
make plans.
be aware.
Yeah, I don't think, because if you make plans then you get disappointed.
Yes,
also,
okay.
the thing about making plans is so annoying because then you have to work towards them. So just calmer.
Okay, excellent. Calma,
Yeah,
what a great
calma.
note to end on. Natasha Donn, thank you very much indeed. Boas Festas.
You
Feliz Ano Novo.
too. Bye-bye.